This is a continuation of the body CAD manipulation color CAD project tutorial. I did a tutorial where I CADed these bottom CADs. Now I'm going to show you how to CAD the top CADs because some of the top CADs might have different details like rib or draw cords or zippers, depending on what your design looked like in your after sketch in your body CAD manipulation project that you turned into me in black and white. There might be new obstacles that might come when you fill these CADs up with with solid color pattern and also a heather fabric swatch. For the first time, we're also going to be using heather fabric swatches as well. So that's an example of what you have here. So there's going to be new things to teach on this lesson. So that's decided to do this as a two-part tutorial. What I will tell you about the body CAD manipulation project, this is your finished artboard. As I explained in the first video tutorial, you're going to have a header here. You're going to have your color names underneath. You're going to have 3 CADs in your color CADs in your bottom CAD design, and you're going to have 4 in your top CAD design. So one of them is going to be a gray heather, which is the swatch that I'm going to provide you, and the other one is going to be a heathered swatch, which is the same as the gray heather swatch, except it's going to be recolored in your own custom colorway. And then you're going to have the same pattern that you have in your pant that came from the midterm, your textile pattern designs to match the pant. You're going to have that filled in the top, and then you're going to have one solid color filled in the top. And they don't have to be the same top and bottom for your solid color, but the intention of this project to kind of make everything kind of sit nicely together in a nice color palette that all works. So what I mean by the heather swatch being recolored, we'll start with that lesson first. As you can see, I have the gray heather swatch here, and then I took that same gray heather swatch and I actually recolored it into a custom colorway of my own choosing. And anything that you have that has rib lines in it, guys, make sure that that's also filled with the same fabric texture. Now, if you have a pattern design like the plaid or stripe or novelty print that you're using from the midterm, what I will tell you is your rib collar color, if you have that in your design, needs to be a solid color that works back to the pattern design in the body, so you won't fill these details in with pattern. If you're using a heather swatch, though, the rib collar actually can be knitted in a heathered fabric swatch, where in real life, this pattern is usually printed or woven into the fabric, and that cannot be done in a rib fabric. It needs to be solid color. And then your solid color here obviously will be to match the body here. If you have fabric motion lines in your body CAD or little fabric gathers, just make sure that those, you can still see them over your body CAD and that they don't have any weird white lines coming through, or I can't actually show you what that means, but like pattern fill details or anything. I'm just messing this up so you can see. You don't want your fabric motion lines having random colors in them like this, because if you have anything showing up that doesn't belong, if you click on your white arrow and you look in your fill box, all these things are loose pieces. Remember, all of our top stitching, fabric motion lines, rib details, rib lines are all fabric loose pieces. So you're going to take the no fill box and just make sure that those pieces don't have having no fill in their fill box. All right, let's get started. So I have 2 body CADs up here for tops, and one is just the before sketch, whatever, but I'm just pulling this because I know some of you had done some hoodie variations in your after sketch, so I wanted to pull this to show you some of the obstacles that might come when you fill something with zipper or draw cord details. This is actually my after CAD design, so again, for this project, I want you to go back to your body CAD manipulation project that you've turned into me, and you have 1 bottom, 1 top, and I actually did a couple variations of tops in that lesson, so I'm going to pull this top right here, my front view sketch only for this project. I'm going to copy and paste it into the project. That's the color CAD project. Paste it in. I already have it pasted in. And then I have the hoodie here just to show another example of how to color the hoodie. So I'm only going to pick one, guys. Just pick one after CAD. Just one top from your after, one top from your and one bottom from your after body CAD manipulation project. So here's my CAD that I'm going to start with, and I'm going to work with heather fabric. So that's what you see down here in this little t-shirt. You can also see heather fabrics show up in sweatshirts or hoodies, pretty common fabric that you find in most knitwear. What I want to have open is our clip files for CADing file. And this is what I had you have open for the first part of this lesson when we did our bottom CAD color CADs there. This is the full file. Please keep this for your future reference. I want you to come over down here at the bottom to what's called the Heather clip file, 100% scale to use on body CADs. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see what it looks like. I provided you guys with an actual Heather fabric swatch, and if you click on it, you're just going to see a bunch of vector points inside of it. Like if I click anywhere in the white, there's a bunch of vector points that make up this very complicated design. That's why I provided it for you so that you always have a Heather swatch already ready to go. It's already grouped, so you can just click on it with the black arrow, make it copy it out of the clip files for CADing file, bring it over here to our file that we're working in, which is the body CAD manipulation color CAD file. Copy and paste it in. I don't think you're going to have to scale it, but if it seems like it looks too big, you can also take the blacker and scale it a little smaller, but I think it might be okay once you paste it in. It's already kind of scaled for you. I'm going to open up Window Swatches, and I'm just going to click and drag that gray Heather fabric swatch into my Windows swatch box, and it'll always show up at the end. And your first CAD that you're going to do in Heather is going to be this Heather gray. And you're going to take the white arrow just like we do when we're getting ready to fill our body CADs with color and pattern. We use the white arrow and we click on the outside silhouette shape. And if your body shape is not joined, you will have problems CADing your design. So we want to make sure our body CADs are always, the silhouette shape is a full joined piece with all the vector points going all the way around connected. Make sure your fill box is on top. Click on your window swatches with the little gray Heather chip right in there. And then you can see my body's now filled with Heather. I left some mistakes in this CAD so that in case you guys run into these issues at home, you can see how I would fix them. So you can see first thing is what I was talking about. Anything that's considered a loose piece, top stitching, fabric motion lines, little fabric gathers, armhole seams, all those things I tell you you're supposed to just draw them as loose pieces. They aren't joined to the body shape. If at any point when you fill your body CADs with pattern and color, you will start to notice that there might be some mistakes that happened in your black and white sketch you might not have noticed until you filled it in with pattern and color. And here's a mistake right here. In my armhole seam, which is just a loose piece, I have a fill color when I shouldn't. I should only have a no fill in my fill box and a stroke color only for anything that's a loose piece. So if you start to see what I see here, white lines popping out or random things looking wrong, click on it with the white arrow and check your fill box and see what's going on. So if you notice that those things that are supposed to be loose pieces have fill colors in them, you just need to click on the no fill because they should only have a stroke color only. Now I'm getting ready to fill rib. So the rib, for what I mentioned in the beginning of this lesson tonight, is that anytime you use a Heather fabric, you can actually knit same Heather fabric color into rib fabric as well. So you're going to need to fill the rib collar with a Heather swatch to match the body. So I'm going to take the white arrow and I'm going to click on my collar shape. So you can see only my collar shape is clicked on. And I'm going to make sure my fill box is on top and I'm going to click on my Heather swatch. And here's another mistake that might happen to you at home. If you notice that only half of your collar shape is filled and it looks like the top part of your collar shape has white like mine does, you're going to have to click on the actual rib line. Remember there's a rib stroke line. It goes right through the center of my rib collar. You click on that with the white arrow and then look what happened. Again, rib lines are supposed to have a no fill. So I'm going to take a no fill and click on my no fill box and now my whole collar shape is filled with Heather. Take the white arrow, click on your back collar shape. So again, just the shape should be highlighted in blue. Check my no fill boxes on top. Click on the Heather swatch in Window Swatches. Now I have a gray Heather filled body CAD. And that is my first gray Heather fill. And I don't need this swatch anymore. Once I've copied and pasted it into Window Swatches, it's there for me. Now I'm going to show you how to recolor a Heather. So that I want you to do one gray Heather color CAD, and then I want you to do one Heather color CAD that actually has a different colored Heather in it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take, after you're done doing a CAD and you're done with that colorway, remember to object group it at the end because that one's done. And then this one, it may already still be grouped, but in case you had ungrouped something along the way, you want to always make sure at the end when you're done to object group the whole thing. All right, so now I'm going to click on I'm going to click on my second copy, which is going to be my recolor in heather. So I'm going to recolor it to be a different heather color than you see here. So as long as the CAD is grouped, I can click on it with the black arrow, and now I can go up to my recolor artwork wheel right here. And this was something you guys learned in the midterm assignment, how to recolor fabrics and colorways. So click on that little recolor artwork box. Here it is. And as I explained to you in the midterm when you were working on your own textile prints, every color that makes up this fabric swatch will show a little color chip in here. There's going to be a black stroke color in here because I have a black stroke outline around my body CAD, but don't ever touch that. Sometimes you might see a white fill in there because there might be something white filled underneath this CAD. Don't touch these two. Really what I want you to worry about is these three colors that make up my heather fabric. So you're going to just double click on these colors, pick the color picker window, and usually heather fabrics are usually 3 shades of one hue. So if it's going to be a purple heather, it'll be a light purple fabric, a medium purple fabric, and a dark purple fabric. And it'll be a purple heather overall. So let's just give you an example of what I mean. So I'm going to pick in this first chip, I'm going to pick a light purple. Then I'm going to double click on this second chip. I'm going to go back up to the same range of purple. And it might not be perfectly the same range, but just stay in the same tone color. Like if you know you're going to do a purple heather, pick all purples. If you know you're going to do an orange heather, pick all orange and go from light to dark. And that's the intention of what we're trying to do. So when you color a heather fabric, you want to make sure that you're coloring it with 3 shades of the same color tone. So if I know I wanted to do a purple heather, I'm going to pick a light purple heather, light purple solid color, a medium purple solid color, and then a dark solid purple color. So they're all purple. They're just 3 shades, 1 shade light to darker to darkest. And then once I hit that, I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to give me my heathered look with 3 shades of purple in it. So now I went from a gray heather, which had 3 shades of gray in it, which was already the swatch I gave you, and I recolored it to make my own custom heather. But again, you're just one color tone, just 3 shades of that color tone. So here you have my CADs. And if you ever notice that when you fill your CADs with a dark color or dark heather color, and you're starting to lose your fabric motion lines, for instance, they're having a hard time showing up, I'm just going to select each one with the white arrow. And I'm going to go to object group, and object stroke, window stroke. And we had all of our fabric motion lines at a 0.25 roughly. So I'm going to suggest if you feel like you've lost them because you're working with such a dark color and you can't see the fabric motion lines anymore, you can go up to a 0.5 just to get them a little thicker so that they start to show more in the CAD. You'll only see that obstacle happening when you work with darker colors, that sometimes the black stroke outline that you used originally will start to get lost if the color of the body CAD is really dark. So you might want to thicken up the lines there. Now I'm going to do an object group, and it's already actually grouped because I never ungrouped it. And now I have a gray heather CAD, and I have a secondary color heather CAD where I recolored it. So that's part of the assignment, 1 gray heather and 1 recolor of a heather. And then the next part is going to be filling in our body CAD with the same textile pattern I used in the pant, and then another solid color. So now I can I'm actually going to take my black and white sketch again, copy and paste it. Because I started with heather first, I probably should have started with the solid color first, but that's fine. Because you don't want to copy and paste your heather version. Let's start with a black and white when you get ready to do solid colors and pattern filled CADs. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what colorway I want to do, and I chose to pick the pink color out of my plaid to make my solid color here. So if I'm going to use a color that ties back into one of the colorways from my midterm, I'll go back to my midterm assignment, and here I am, and I'll go over to the plaid that I used in my design, and I'll pick another color chip that came from it, because now I know that color chip belongs in that design, and my top will tie back to it. So I'm going to go back to my copy and paste it into this new assignment, and I'm just going to use it temporarily. It's not going to show up in the final assignment of this body CAD manipulation color CAD project. I'm just using that color chip just for the moment to be able to color the same solid color. So first thing, if you're going to use a color chip to use that and eyedrop on top of it to get your solid color fill, you need to actually do one step, is you need to add a stroke color onto it. So click on the stroke box, bring it to the top. Your window color box will automatically pop up. That gives us our black and white chip. Add a black chip to it, so you have now a color chip with a black stroke outline, which is I only recommend for when you're getting ready to use it for body CAD fills only. Do not give me color chips that have black stroke outlines on an actual assignment. But in a body CAD scenario, yes, you're going to need that black stroke outline. So take the white arrow, just like we did for all of our pattern and color fills. Make sure the fill box is on top. Take the white eyedropper tool, eyedrop on my color chip that has the black stroke outline. And again, because I started with that same CAD, I had some issues here where there's armhole seams. We're supposed to have a no fill color, and now I need to fill the rib. So I'm going to click on the rib collar shape with the white arrow, and then I can actually just click on the eyedropper tool down here, and this has the same issue. No fill color there. Click on the back collar shape with the white arrow. Click on the eyedropper on my body CAD. All right, there's my solid color. Delete off this chip. I don't need it anymore. And I'm just gonna make sure I object group that one when I'm done. Now I have my solid color CAD. The last one I need to do now is and I'm actually just gonna copy this now. I didn't want to copy the header CADs to be able to get solid CADs and pattern filled CADs later, but you can copy a solid CAD that's already filled to get a pattern filled CAD. You just can't do it with the header ones. So now I'm going to use this pattern body CAD that's filled with solid, and I'm going to fill it with my textile design. So I'm going to take my pant that I also filled with the same design, and I'm going to copy and paste it. It might be in the same file already for you, and I'm going to just take the white arrow on my body CAD, click on my body CAD shape, make sure my fill box is on top, take the eyedropper tool and eyedrop on top of that same small scale pattern that I have in my pant. And now I'm going to then choose to recolor this collar shape to match back. So it actually already does match back, but if, say for instance, I wanted to pick the green color that's in my plaid, then I would have to go back to the midterm, click that green color chip from the midterm, copy and paste it, bring it over here, and that's only if you want to choose a different color for your collar shape. Your collar shape will be solid, you guys. On anything that's pattern filled, it will be solid. It will not be filled with plaid. So I'm going to take the white, before I start doing that, I'm going to take the color chip. I'm going to put a black stroke outline around it just because I'm using it to help fill my body CAD. And I'm going to take the white arrow, click on my collar shape, make sure my fill box is on top, eyedropper tool onto my color chip that has the black stroke outline. Take the white arrow on the back collar shape, make sure my fill box is on top, eyedropper tool on top of the color chip that has the black stroke outline. And now I'm going to delete off this color chip. I don't need it anymore. It was just there for me temporarily. And now I have my pattern filled CAD. So I'm going to object group that. And then I'm going to work it in. And I'm going to do this zip hoodie quick tutorial at the very end. I don't need this anymore. And I'm just going to show you how you're going to stagger the layout of these tops. Remember, same thing as the pant. You're going to make sure everything's grouped first so that I can just take the black arrow and move things around and nothing separates. So make sure you object group every colorway separately. Then I can take the black arrow, and the black arrow selects whole shapes, and I can start to layer these CADs one on top of the other. And I'm just going to stagger them, again, one on top of the other. But I want to make sure that they are all, did I scale these? Oh, they look like they're different scales. Let's, hold on. Hold, please. Okay. Somewhere along the line I scaled this, and I shouldn't have done that. Don't mess with scaling your body CADs. Just keep them all the same. Okay. Now I can stagger them. These still look like they need to be a little bit bigger. All right, don't do what I'm doing, guys, because I actually made a mistake and scaled these two Heather color CADs a little bit bigger than they should have been. I should have just copied and pasted the same one over and over again to make sure my body CAD was the same size. So I'm just bringing it back to be the same size. And now that I staggered them over top of each other, I'm going to purposely mess this up so you guys can see if I didn't stagger them the right way. I can use the window align tool, take the black arrow, hover over all 4 drawings, go to window align, same as I did with the pant, go to vertical align top, and now I know that all my CADs are aligned perfectly on the top, and all the CADs should be the same size CADs so that they all look like they're staggered on top of each other. So that's how we're going to do our staggered layout. And if anything shows up behind something like this, which I just did a second ago, I just did this plaid design is out now behind the pink and the whole pink one is up front. You want to actually just click on that one and do an object range bring to front. The idea of the staggered layout is that every top, just like in the pant, has one part of it hidden, and because it's being overlapped by the other CAD on top. So you only see, like for instance, you see one sleeve showing on each side. It's hidden underneath. You can see the other sleeve is hidden underneath, but the staggered layout just shows the collar and one sleeve, the collar and one sleeve of every color. So that's how you want to approach your staggered layout. And then just like the pan, I'm just going to add my heading down at the bottom. I'm going to call each colorway name it. So this will be Gray Heather. Copy and paste that same word and then just backspace over it because I want to make sure I'm using the same font and same size font. And then I could call this Purple Heather. And then I can call this one Pink. That's my solid color, but you don't need to say pink solid because everybody knows it's a solid color by looking at it. But this one, I'm going to actually name it a pattern because then you can see that it's actually a pattern. So what I will tell you is down here, because the pattern CAD is going to be the same between top and bottom, make sure that you use the same color name. So they both should be, say, green plaid if you use the same pattern. The other ones that don't associate with each other, you can name them whatever colors you want, color names you want, but basically you just want to make sure you tie back those 2 names of the pattern colorway from the midterm. So now I'm going to just click and drag these words until they're kind of centered underneath each colorway. Before I take them and window align them, take all the 4 words with the black arrow, do window align tool, vertical align top, and now they're all flush edged to each other, and now the words are also centered underneath my top design. So this is how you'll lay out your project. When it's done, you'll have one top design in 4 colors, 2 heathers, 1 pattern, and 1 solid, and you're going to line it up if it fits above the pant. Above the bottom CAD, that would be perfect. If it doesn't, just do a different layout. But what I want to try and make sure is you don't overlap your top design with your bottom design, so keep them in 2 separate places. If you need to scale things to make everything fit, you can just take the black arrow after everything's done, and you can just start to hold shift and scale things a little bit smaller if you need to make more room in the page to actually make everything fit. But scale them all proportionally together. Don't scale the top separate than the pants. Scale them all together at once you have the staggered layout and all your text together if you need more room to make it fit in the artboard. I'm going to do a separate lesson on how to fill zip hoodie CADs because they have a little bit different obstacles because they have zippers and draw cords and rib trim and such. So I'll do a separate tutorial on that.